leach out both estrogen and water-soluble compounds from oils, especially, is to put them in a bucket like this, fill it up with water, put the oil in it as well, stir the oil with the water, get it hot enough so that the oil, if it's like made of if it's coconut or something that's just solidified, to melt it down first so that it becomes juicy. You can't mix it so it can come in contact with the water. The more that you mix it, the more that it sits against the water, the more it will pull from it. Then you let it solidify, you pour the top off, you scoop off, save the oil, then you toss the water out. Do that 3 or 4 times, and you will eventually clean the oil. Right now, this is full of estrogens. Though it was full of estrogens, and I'm going to save the rest of it. And I'm going to save the rest of it. Just breaking off like this. Yeah, because this is old, dirty oil. So I'm going to have to because this oil had been sitting outside, and basically in this little container bucket thing. By the way, Kirkland Signature is not a very good company. They adhere to low quality food fertilization practices. It makes the end product very low quality. It's not nearly as good as the others, as good as other people who pay a little bit more attention to those things. Anyways. Always pray more. Yeah, I'll do my best to clean it. I'm not really using this oil for anything at all, so I'm not really worried about it. But I'm going to do this to my shea butter cocoa butter, to my cocoa butter as well. Keep in mind that anything that is water soluble, it's going to leach those out as well. Those petroleum-based estrogens, even though they are petroleum-based, there's enough organic compounds in them to make them water-bound, so they will bind to water as well. It's both water and oil soluble. And it just helps, even though this is more just for cosmetic and texture-based purposes. This is more just for cosmetic reasons, but we're doing this anyways. I'll try uploading in the higher quality format, see how that works out. Good. Looks perfect. Cool. Alright. And if you are storing in a container, you want to make sure to get all the water out. For now, I'm just sticking it in this jar so I can just have some place to put this in, get this out the way of. Don't want you. I'm gonna run out of space pretty soon, but this is just like a little bit of part of the process. Yeah, it felt so good to get rid of all those videos. Just so much like storage space, just like so much. I don't know. Now I got like 7 gigabytes again. I'm just gonna run out pretty soon doing these. That's okay. You can always print more. Care what the money the masses that you spend. Man, I've been having like fucking like problem requests for so long, but it's okay. Anyways, yeah. Basically, we're all experiencing computer issues over here. Me and my parents and everyone else. Because my dad let his computer run for too long on Windows 10, which it wasn't supposed to do. I told him to turn off to use the timer so that it would shut down, just to put on standby instead of keep it running operational. Windows 10 basically has idle command operations that it basically accesses from the hard drive. It's always scanning and writing things to the hard drive, and this, if you're doing that to an SSD, a solid state hard drive, it's very bad for it, especially if it's over and over again. Constant, basically throughout the day. And yeah, that will eventually wear out the sectors. I mean, you'll corrupt the hard drive, you'll corrupt portions of it at least. And it will be, and eventually the parameters, the codes, commands, they start to replace those things. It does like a monitoring thing, like when the drive sites fail. But it's not perfect always, it's not perfect always apparently, and of course not, and that's what eventually causes problems. Dad, and so he's got a new all-in-one. It's working fine. apparently, supposedly. He probably keeps that on all the time too, and his friends are going to fail. So if you do have solid-state hard drives and you're running Windows 10, don't put things on. Use common sense. Please put them on idle time by standbys, like about 15 minutes or so. About 15 minutes or so, put it on standby. You don't need those things running. You don't need your desktops running. Put them on standby at least. And to disable fast boot mode, because it never allows your computer to sleep. Parts of it, it's weird. Like, it's disable superfetch, disable pretty much Windows Defender. You don't really need it most of the time. At least we didn't. I didn't on mine. And the longer that you keep Windows 10 running, the more susceptible it is to security hacks as well, which is what I was trying to tell my dad, but he didn't really seem to get it. So, it's basically the longer you're logged online, connected to a server or to anything, you're pretty much existence. You're pretty much, you show up on, like, you show up in existence on the servers, on the commands, on the, basically, someone tries to look for you, there you are. As long as your computer is shut down, there's nothing to gain, there's nothing to get. It's all offline, and no one can access anything offline, basically, in other words. Alright, oh, that's gross. I wanted to do that just one more time, but I'm not going to be eating this. I'm just going to be using this for, like, other things. Yeah, you want to store the water separately. I'm going to actually heat this up inside the container and try to pour this back off. Make sure that your container is meant for heating. Like, it's not going to melt at the temperatures that you'll be using it at. And another thing about glass, you don't want to heat glass too quickly on just a small part of it. You want to heat it evenly, because if you try to heat one side too quickly, like expose it to a very hot flame, very intense flame especially, it will crack, because the expansion is just too much. The expansion rate is too much. And yeah, that's about it. I'll do this. As soon as I find another container, I'm going to stick this cocoa butter in that. I'll take this outside, empty the water out, heat this up, pretty much I'll rinse this off like 2 times with the water, 2-3 times. That'll get all the caffeine out, and I'll make that homogeneous for my body and suitable for life. Caffeine, you don't need it. Oh, another tip for you guys, instead of caffeine, try wine instead. If you're really truly reliant upon caffeine, try a sip of wine in the mornings instead. It's probably going to help you a lot more. It's going to be probably a lot cheaper in the long run overall, because that's $4 for a bottle compared to what? Unless you brew it yourself, which is completely totally different. But if you're at work or something, or not at work, but for work, try it out. See how it wakes you up, because what you guys really need is movement during the day. And that's what a lot of you are substituting it as. You're substituting your caffeine for movement. And for movement and a quick, easy fuel source like food or an apple, that's what you need to be eating. That's what you need to be eating instead of coffee. Coffee is a very poor energy substitution. At least in my experience, it's not needed. What your body needs is fuel. What your body needs is flow. And if you move in the mornings, if you do exercise, if you do static holds, if you eat an apple, if you eat fruits, eat or juice fruits, you will get that energy more quickly. You will wake up more easily, especially movement. A lot of your body types, your metabolic chemistries, your metabolic constitutions need movement. You guys thrive on movement, much more so than the others. You need it much more so than the others. Vata doesn't need it nearly as much. A little bit of movement suffices for us, and our cells are already primed and moving. You guys need a little bit more flow to get ready in the mornings, but also you guys have a bit more like substitution and mass, so that you don't need it that often, that much as we do. So there's a balance to it, but yeah, do what works best for you. Intuitively, you pretty much know what makes sense for you. You know what works right. Intuitively, only you can truly know what's best for you. So do that. Yeah, you guys are awesome.